Hey, it's Ed. Welcome to another edition of Ed Talks. Today, I have another one of those situations where it's not just a business colleague, but a personal friend of mine, Pam Saechow. Welcome to Ed Talks.
Thank you for having me, Ed.
Pam, I want to do a much longer program with you at some point because what we're going to do now in 10 minutes doesn't capture the full story. But you and I first met many years ago. I don't even remember the year, but it was Chime Boot Camp.
2013.
There it is. And so we just connected, and I was like, wow, this person is an amazing leader. And I hated to do it, but when I had the opportunity and I was in New York City and I needed help with an amazing opportunity to put in Epic, both the revenue cycle eventually and definitely the clinical side, I was like, Pam, you have to help me. And you came and you helped me. And then we had the opportunity to serve together in Cleveland. But the best part of the story, I think, is you went out and you created your own company. So tell us about your company.
Yeah, our company is called Elite Groups. We are a healthcare IT consulting company. It was formed early in 2019. It's actually called Elite Group because I really named that after my grandmother as her legacy. And you know this better than anybody else. I was raised by my grandmother, single grandmother in Laos, where I was born. Lost my mom at a year old, and she raised me. She really gave me the inspiration behind my work ethics, the love of patients. She started a medicine woman in her village before modern medicine was a thing, and she did integrative medicine. So come to America, fast forward I was here 9 years old. She used my English interpretation to help the community. Go get doctor's appointments, go get eligibility, referrals, etc. Interpret to people when I take them to doctor's appointments. So at an early age, I just fell in love with healthcare. And because she shaped so much of my life and who we are, French word she is the power of her voice that comes through and resonates the culture of our company. Drop the letter E, it's spelled ELL. IT is using information technology as an enabler and a catalyst for driving operational efficiencies and finding those competitive advantages. Groups is because you can never accomplish anything wonderful without collaborating and partnering with everybody, whether it's IT, operations, vendor partnership, and that's how it's pronounced elite, delivering the very best with the very best talent. So our name was very intentional in that respect.
Yeah, no, it's a great founder story and a great immigrant story. And one of the differentiators, I think, for you all, and this is not an infomercial, this is just, we're friends. But I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And I think about the differentiation for you is that you were a CIO. So you had the experience, you were a lot of senior roles, clinical senior roles on the tech. And now you have your own company. So that's a big differentiator, the fact that you're a CIO. What would you say is another differentiator for elite groups in the marketplace?
I think our biggest differentiator, and another differentiator that I would say, is our operational mindset. All of the leaders that come and work with me, I've been really privileged at Elite Group when we formed the company, is we have a lot of people who have been nurses, doctors, right? They've also held seats in the IT department, whether they were running clinical informatics, they were director or VP of infrastructure, technology. They have a very operational mindset and converted into the IT and helped implement many solutions over the years. And so I think while we're called a healthcare IT company, we really do focus on putting solutions that are in the forefront of business and clinical decisions, because we bring a lot of that operational mindset into play. And so really we look at ourselves as bridging the gap between technology and operations.
Yeah, that makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Well, and you've seen some of those, Ed, working with you, and putting in changes, right? Operational readiness programs with a focus on people, process, technology, and bringing the knowledge together, so you have firsthand experience in learning from you. If you recall, at New York City Health and Hospital, that was a differentiator, bringing in, wasn't about the technology and the tools itself, because we know that well. It was bringing people and process to bear and then applying the knowledge layer behind that
So
and
one of the
making sure
common,
the change sticks.
yeah, no, it was brilliant. We had huge success wherever we served together, and for sure yourself independently. What would you say to individuals who might aspire to be like you, Pam? So you're, now the CEO of a company, you've been a CIO, you have this immigrant story, and they're looking for inspiration. What would you say in terms of helping them get to the next level? What should they be focused on?
Someone asked me a question similar to that differently, but I would say, and I would say my top three words, and coming from a friend and a mentor in so many ways, I have my three P's, which is people, process, and purpose. I've always been really focused on purpose, and purpose for me is like you're working towards something greater than yourself all of the time. It's never about you. So having a very clear purpose on what you're doing, which is in a very, in this industry, we're so privileged, right, to be serving
Yeah.
the healthcare industry. So my purpose, no matter which side I'm on, is always about the patients. That's very clear, and it resonates throughout elite groups. Second is people, the love for people. I respect people, whether they're my customers. Their success is my success, and I respect the talent who work with us, who give their loyalty and commitment to making the success happen. Without them, there's no us. And so people is an asset, and I value and recognize that very much. And last but not least, you have to have passion for what you do. You got to love it. So hard, as you know, getting out of bed and getting ready for the day. So you got to love what you do, because without those things, you're not going to be able to be resilient during the tough times, or persistent and fight through the tough challenges that come your way, because nothing comes easy, right? So that's what I would definitely say to somebody who's looking to do something different.
Yeah. And what about from an angle, like what sort of words of wisdom would you have who's someone who wants to start a business? So you've been elite groups, you've been around 5, 6 years.
Yeah, getting close to 6 years, or a little over 5 years, actually.
And as you know, it's tough to do what would have been a startup. Now you're past the startup phase, obviously. But there's a lot of people who think about it all the time, like, I have an idea. I have this passion around a particular purpose, and I want to start a company. What's one or two things that you might say to them to help encourage them?
Uh, Resiliency, never give up. I have so much admiration and respect for entrepreneurs who get who own businesses, because I don't think anybody ever tells you how hard it is unless you're in it, and there are days you want to give up. So thinking about payroll, your payroll is always giving to others before yourself, right? And you probably notice this better so that sacrifice that you have to think about, hey, I got to make sure everybody gets paid before I get paid, because the number one thing there is you got to serve the purpose. You make commitments to people, you're going to deliver on excellence and quality every single time. So no matter what comes your way, I would definitely say, your resiliency to overcome obstacles that come your way by believing in the greater good, I think is going to be really important. The second thing I would think is like, you just got to trust the talent around you and the people. I was so amazed, to be frank, when I came out of the industry and I started the business. You wouldn't believe that 24-hour call to phone a friend, how many people are actually willing to help you.
Yeah.
And stick their hands and open their arms up and go, how can I help you? It's like, I need help to make payroll tomorrow. Can you wire me this amount of money? It's like, oh my God, you have those OMG moments, and that there are so many amazing people, and you find out who your true friends are. I feel like people who really step up and like, I'm here to have you, and I mean what I say.
Yeah.
Versus the one who say, I got your back, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a hard lesson to learn sometimes.
Yeah. I've learned the same thing, right? Not everyone that you thought was in your corner is in your corner at a time of need. So whatever you can do to identify before you ever need to identify those people is really good. You're such an interesting person, and your story's so interesting. And I think we covered a lot in 10 minutes, but we definitely need to have you back, and maybe on one of our other channels, and go a little bit deeper, because you have so much wisdom and so much experience. And I think people will be very inspired by your story, what you're doing in the healthcare community to further, the mission that we all serve, I think, which is ultimately saving lives and helping our customers do that. So, Pam, thank you for being a guest on EDTalks.
Well, Ed, thank you for having me. I enjoy being here and love talking to somebody that I feel very comfortable with.
Hey, that wraps up another edition of EDTalks. Thanks for watching.